Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another video, man. Today I wanted to talk about something that was fairly recent, and that's pretty much people getting mad at Apu being able to hurt Zoro and Luffy. And yeah, and I really don't get why people are mad about this, because I think in my opinion, I think the Supernova are actually not even weak. Like, even though like their powers like are kind of wacky and you probably think that they're weakened, they don't really got too many crazy feats that make them look like they strong. Like, compared to Luffy, obviously none of them compares to Luffy. Like, Luffy being able to go head to head. He fought against a bunch of Marines in Marine 4. He broke out of Impel Down. Like, all the feats that Luffy has, none of the other people part of the worst generation has, other than Blackbeard. Other than that, like, everybody else is on like not even on the same level at this point, because Luffy is the closest one out of all of them to Yonko level, other than Blackbeard. And I really don't even consider Blackbeard a part of the worst generation, even though he's technically a part of it. But I really don't even consider him a part of it, because he's so much out of their league, to the point where none of them can't even beat him. So it's no point of even comparing them to him. So I really even wouldn't put him in this race. But a lot of people consider Zoro and Luffy very, like, at the top, because we got to see them progress throughout the story. But with other people, like with the other worst generation, we didn't really get to see them progress like everybody else. So I can kind of understand why people mad at Apu being able to hurt Zoro and Luffy, but at the same time, I understand that, like, Luffy and Zoro and them, they not immune to anything. And plus, especially Luffy, like when Luffy first go up against somebody, he always gets beat up because he doesn't know what their ability is, and it's hard for him. It takes him a while to learn what their ability is. So I get why they got hurt by Apu, because obviously Apu just pulled out a random attack out of nowhere, and Zoro and Luffy, they wasn't expecting it. Because I remember when they was on Sabaody, I think Zoro and Luffy never even got to meet Apu, so they don't even know what his abilities are. So I understand why they got hurt by him. And yeah, and I just really want to talk about like all the Supernovas and how they really come up, compared to Luffy and Zoro, even though I think they are fairly strong. First, obviously, Blackbeard. Now, I don't even consider him a part of the generation, because he's so far ahead of everybody to the point where you can't even compare him. And then we got Law, obviously. And with Law, I think Law is like, when Law, like, during the Dressrosa arc, I think Law was around Sanji and Zoro level. It's just consider if you want to put him in between, or you want to put him below them, it really doesn't matter. But I think he was somewhere around Zoro and Sanji level when he was in Dressrosa. So I say Law is not even weak. Like, Law is not a weak character, and obviously his ability is very OP, and I don't really think that people consider Law to be a weak character. And then with Kid, it just depends on what you want to, like, how you want to perceive Kid, because some people compare him to Luffy, since at the beginning his bounty was higher than Luffy, so people kind of thought that he was gonna be Luffy's rival in the worst generation, even though it's Blackbeard, but people thought it was gonna be Kid. So I know some people, they still hold Kid up to high regards, like consider him to be on Luffy level. And in my opinion, I consider him being around like around that Zoro level range, where he's not at Luffy level yet, but I think he's somewhere around there, even though we haven't really got to see him fight and do nothing. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do at Wano, because since he lost to Shanks and stuff like that, like, people, obviously he was going to be in Shanks, so I really even consider him weak for that, because he was going up against a Yonko. What you expect, like, him to beat Shanks? Nah. And then with when Beijing, obviously we got to see Beijing, even though he doesn't have the most flashy ability, him being able to turn himself into pretty much a castle. even though that's like, even though it can be overpowered and sometimes like most people wouldn't really consider it that crazy. And the only reason why I consider BJ to be somewhat good is because he was able to make it really high in and Big Mom's crew. Like he was able to get into a higher ranks than most people. So I'll say he's actually fairly strong. And the same goes for X Drake and Hawkins. Like both of them was able to make it to a pretty high position in Kaido's crew. So I'm pretty sure that they're not weak. They're still on that level. And plus with Hawkins' ability, Hawkins, like, his abilities are very OP because he's able to predict things. So like it's very crazy. And then obviously we got Killer. And with Killer, I say with Killer, even though people really don't, I think Killer is one of the most underrated out of the whole entire Worst Generation. I think he's one of the people that people really overlook because he's so similar to Zoro, to the point where people obviously just push him aside since we already have Zoro. But I think Killer, Killer, I think he's around, like, probably around the Jinbei or Sanji level, or a little bit lower than that. Now I want to say he'll be able to beat like Law or Kid or all some of the other top Worst Generation, but I think he's in the middle. He's fairly in the middle, so he's not at the bottom. And then we got Bunny. Now Bunny, people really consider her to be at the bottom. Usually when you see a ranking list of the Worst Generation, everybody will put her at the bottom, and I understand why. We haven't seen none of the feats he was able to do. And hopefully we get to see more her in the story, but I think her ability is pretty OP, being able to change people age. That's very OP. Like, just imagine her going up against somebody and she changes their age to a kid, and she changes to a kid where their muscles are less developed, so they won't be able, like, just say she was going up against Zoro and she turned him into a kid. Just say kid Zoro couldn't hold the sword correctly, so Zoro wouldn't be able to use his 3-sword style. Like, it's a lot of different things that she can do, and she can make it really OP. Her abilities are good, even though we don't know like the limitations on her fruit. But it's pretty interesting to see. And then we got Yoroj. Now with Yoroj, like I said, people like his rankings are pretty confusing because I know a lot of people that put him like very low, but it's a few people that put him like at the top and say he's like legit the strongest of them all because his ability allow him, like, as he take more damage, he gets stronger. And obviously it has its limitations, but people think that he's very strong. And I think Yoroj, he'll face off pretty decent against Luffy, especially with Luffy being attack first, think later person. So I think Yoroj would be far off pretty good against Luffy, Zoro, some of the top tier Worst Generation members, because like obviously most of them are not really based off physical strength. So I'm pretty sure he'll be able to go up against them and be able to hold his own. And yeah, and I just wanted to talk about that because a lot of people, they just be obviously I forgot Pooh. Like I said, with a Pooh, we don't really know what his abilities are, but Pooh being able to make it into a high position in Kaido's crew too, I still give him credit because he have to go against so many other people to make it to that position. So I give him his props for that, and we haven't seen his ability yet. Hopefully in the next chapter, Oda like give us a name of the fruit or give us something, some more action with the fruit so we can really know what he does. I think it just has something to do with sound waves, but you never know. And yeah, even though like the characters that's in the Worst Generation, we really don't get to follow their story, or we don't really get to see that much of them or their progression, I still consider them up there with Luffy now. Even though I think Luffy so far is like ahead of them, but I don't consider him just being light years ahead of him like Blackbeard, since Blackbeard already a Yonko. I still consider them being able to face off against Luffy and hurt him, especially if Luffy don't know their abilities. And that's one thing people get confused on. People just think Luffy is a god. Like, if Luffy go up against anybody and he doesn't know what their abilities are, I think abilities are, he going to be affected. Like, just say you could say anybody. Just say he went up against Leo, if he went up against Leo and he didn't know Leo had the Stitch fruit, I'm pretty sure Luffy would have had some trouble if Leo like would have stitched his arms together or some crap like that. Like, so I think Luffy is not too far ahead of them. It's right now, especially in the story. But I think the only reason why we consider that because Luffy has so many, like, has better feats than them. Like, obviously Luffy fighting in Marineford, being able to face off against admirals, and all this stuff he done. Obviously we'll hold him to high regards other than the other worst generation. But I still think I still think the other generation, I think all of them have some special about them, even though they not really the strongest. And if you wanted me to give you a quick ranking of them, I'll put Blackbeard first, Luffy, and then I'll put Kid and Zoro at the same spot because I don't really know who's stronger. And then I'll probably put Law, then I'll put X Drake, then I'll put Hawkins, then I'll put Beijing, and then I'll put Killer, because like I said, Killer, he's just right in the middle. He's not too too strong, but he's not weak either. And then after that, I'll probably put Roach, and then I'll probably put Bunny, and then I'll probably put Pooh last. And the only reason why I'm putting a Pooh last because we don't know what his abilities are. Even if he was able to hurt Luffy now, I think Luffy now be able to deal with him pretty easy. Like, if Luffy went up against a Pooh, I'd probably say he'll probably low to mid diff him. He really wouldn't be struggling that hard if Luffy really wanted to knock him out and get him out his way. I'm pretty sure Pooh will be able to I'm pretty sure he'll be able to body a Pooh. And yeah, man, I just pretty much wanted to talk about that because that's kind of been bothering me. And I was gonna do a chapter review about it, but the audio got corrupted. But hopefully this audio right here don't get it corrupted, so I'll be able to upload a new video. And yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it for the video, man. You already know it's your boy Grandma Keys, man. You already know, leave a like, comment if you disagree with me or if you agree with me, and then leave a like and hit the notification bell if you want to see more One Piece content or anything related to anime or manga. And yeah, man, it's your boy Grandma Cookies, and I'm out.
To the tune, till I'm dead. Don't want room, I might go, but I don't want French. To the tune,